Materialism is the idea that matter defines consciousness. In other words, a sufficiently complex lump of matter, i.e., your brain, hallucinates itself into thinking that it has consciousness as a kind of survival mechanism. That means, in other words, that as soon as the matter dies, so does the consciousness. And that's bad news, of course, because, well, consciousness wants to live on, doesn't it? And as a result, materialism is a philosophy that is very depressing, isn't it? And very anxiety instilling or very anxiety creating. And it's not very useful for navigating life because it leaves all the big questions entirely unanswered, such as the question of, why am I here? What is my purpose? Why do things happen to me, certain things happen to me, over and over again in my life? Why are there certain patterns? Why are there coincidences that are just a tiny little bit too coincidental to be called coincidences? Materialism doesn't answer any of that. Materialism just tells you your existence is random. As soon as your brain dies, so does your consciousness. So just don't bother with any of that. Instead, be an obedient tiny little corporate slave, consume, pay your taxes, and shut up otherwise. That's pretty much what materialism is all about. And as we will find out, there is a very good reason for why you have been told this lie. Let's contrast this with the Law of One, which in my opinion is the significantly better philosophy. The Law of One suggests that consciousness defines matter. It therefore suggests the exact opposite of the lie of materialism. Consciousness defines matter, and that there is only one consciousness, really. From that, we can infer that if there is only one consciousness, then that means there can be only unity. And unity in turn implies infinity. As soon as there is a boundary, i.e., as soon as one thing ends and another thing begins, these things cannot be infinite anymore, obviously. So unity implies infinity. Infinity implies, of course, that there is no end to consciousness, and that means that there is no end to being, because consciousness in one way or the other is being. And that, in other words, means that there is no end to your being.